Hey everybody, this is Jacob doing a recommendation on retro game Red Dead Revolver, which came out in 2004 for PlayStation 2 and Xbox. And as of right now, this game is available on the PlayStation Store for digitally download, and it's like 15 bucks. So if you want to play this game on your PlayStation 4 or 5, you can. Which it is the same exact game, but if you do want a physical copy, I did find it on Amazon for PlayStation 2 for $28. And Xbox being a little bit harder to find and more expensive will be more like around $30 to $40. Just some information that I think you guys might appreciate. But in this video we are going to be showing and talking about the gameplay and what kind of game it is and why I recommend it. The story is about Red Hollow, which is being told through the book. The game starts with Red being about 14. A little bit of time that we get with younger Red Hollow, you see that he's this kind of happy, goofy kid, and you can see that he really looks up to his father and loves him and wants to prove himself to him. And I'm gonna go ahead and be quiet for a minute and let you guys watch a part of this cutscene, just so you guys can better understand what I'm saying about the story.
That runs clean through Bear Mountain.
Hey, Pa, where'd you get that?
Isn't she a beaut?
Yeah. Can I hold it?
She's one of a pair, only two in the whole world.
Where's the other one?
But in my opinion, Rockstar did a really good job showing what kind of personality and what kind of family Red had, with just a small cutscene. A little bit of a spoiler alert coming up. Everything was seeming great, but they were unaware that they were about to be under an attack. Red's father and mother would not survive. They were gunned down right in front of them, which Red barely surviving. About 10 to 12 years later, which making him about 24 to 26, I do believe, at this time. And now his personality is completely different. He doesn't talk much, and when he does, he sounds hateful most of the time, pretty much all of the time. And that did cause Red Dead Revolver to get some criticism, at least when it came to Red Hollow's character. And that's something that I highly disagree with. And the reason why is this is the kind of personality somebody should have. And it's not really specified, but implied that he spent most of his life after that point by himself. So with that and all that hate, it makes sense for him to be a man of few words. I don't know if you guys watch anime, but if you do, you probably know the anime Vinland Saga. And if you do like anime and you haven't watched Vinland Saga, check it out. But anyways, if you have watched Vinland Saga, I think Red and the main character Thorfinn have a lot in common. And when I say they have a lot in common, I don't mean like they look alike and they fight alike. I'm talking about their character and their personality. Red Dead Revolver does have a lot of good gameplay, with a lot of unique boss fights and some of them being quite challenging. And each boss will have special abilities such as Pig Josh. And I would say he's definitely the hardest boss if you don't know what you're doing. And even if you do know what you're doing and you beat this game 100 times, I still say he's one of the harder bosses in the game. I'm going to show you guys how I used to choose him when I was little, but I recommend you don't do this because it somewhat does ruin the boss fight. But when you're little, you don't really care about stuff like that. It's just something I've done so many times, I gotta show you guys. And I always kind of wondered about how many people knew about this, so let me know in the comments. And if you do agree with me that he is one of the harder bosses in the game, but you're just gonna go in this building and you're gonna go upstairs and Jack should be there, and you're just gonna climb on the very top of the building. And once you get on the very top of the building, he'll be looking for you, and then you just shoot him from the very top of this building. And he will charge you, but he won't be able to get to you. For those of you that play Red Dead Redemption 1 and 2 and really like the Deadeye mechanic, you'd be happy to know that this is where the Deadeye mechanic was created, with it being Red's special ability. And just like in Red Dead Redemption 1 and 2, it really is fun to use, with really the only downside being if you try to mark too many enemies at once, which is not really that you can't mark a lot of enemies at once, but if they're moving and too spaced out, you are likely to miss a lot of your targets. So really when you use the Deadeye, unlike Red Dead Redemption 1 and 2, you gotta keep those targets right in front of you. Another really cool gameplay feature is the duel-off system, and you do get quite a bit of dueling in this game, and each duel-off will have a cutscene and music. Really does help set the stage. And in a way, I actually think the duel-off system is better than Red Dead Redemption's, because in Red Dead Redemption, once you have one duel-off, they're basically all the same. And you can say the same thing about Red Dead Revolver, which is kind of true. I mean, it is the same mechanic, but sometimes the enemies will be fast or slower, sometimes you'll be going up against 2 or 3 enemies, and as you progress through the story, it really does get quite challenging. Some of the gameplay mechanics definitely starting to show its age, such as stuff like the awkward controls and stiff movement, but I feel like once you play and get used to the controls, it won't bother you as much. The gunfights are definitely fun, but although at times you'll be aiming at an enemy and the bullet will go in a totally different direction. The AI, although not awful, it is still pretty bad. It's a lot better than a lot of Ubisoft games nowadays, at least when it comes to the AI. For example, of bad AI in Ubisoft games, I was playing Far Cry 5, enemies would be trying to take cover, but they would be facing me and completely exposed. And then they would go climb like a ladder, and then halfway up they would come back down. Yes, shots fired at Ubisoft. but the AI in Red Dead Revolver seems like it gets a lot better as you progress through the story, maybe because it gets a little bit harder. And it does get a little bit challenging, and I would say the skill factor 1 through 10. And just so you guys can kind of understand my skill factor a little bit better, Red Dead Redemption being like a 2. If you guys played that game, you can kind of understand it's pretty easy but fun. Then say a game like Elden Ring or Ninja Gaiden being like a 9 or a 10. So I would say Red Dead Revolver is probably like a 5 or 6 on difficulty. So it's not really hard, but it definitely can be. It definitely has its challenging levels, which I like a game being a little bit challenging. And some of you guys might play this game and think it's really easy or really hard, but it's kind of hard for me to give you guys an accurate rating on difficulty just because I've been playing this game basically as far back as I can remember. And I do want to mention, once you beat the game, that you do unlock hard mode. You also get to play as 5 playable characters still in the story other than Red. Each playable character will have special abilities and unique weapons. As you play, you'll get to buy, unlock weapons, levels, and characters. You will get to play as them on the multiplayer, and I'll get more on that in a minute. In each completion of a level, you'll get scored on how good you did, such as how much damage you took, how long you took, your kill combo, and your accuracy. So out of those 4 stats, if you don't get at least a 3-star, then you will only unlock one thing at the end of that mission. You will have the ability to unlock 2 items at the end of the level. And if you don't get both items unlocked, you can restart that level and try again. But if you continue, you cannot restart that level until you finish the game. Now there is one more way to unlock certain things using money, but you get money pretty much the same way by completing the level. But there is one big difference. If you want to make a lot of money, you need to get that shot and kill combo really high, which you really need to make a lot of money early on in the level, so you want to get that combo up fast, because there will be random characters trying to sell you stuff during some of the levels, and if you don't have enough money right then and there, then you won't be able to get it. But you'll also have opportunities to buy stuff at the end of the level, and when you make trips into town, which you can buy stuff from the saloon, the gun store, and make no mistake, the money in this game really is useful. You can use it to buy new weapons, and repair your weapons when they need it, which throughout the game you can also unlock pages of the journal telling you a little bit more about the characters, which is pretty cool if you care to know a little bit more about the lore. You also have Showdown mode, which is multiplayer. It's up to 4 players, and if you don't have anybody to play with, you can also go up against the NPC. You can play as 47 characters, which you have to unlock through the story. And each character will have their own unique weapon and special ability, with 13 different maps that you can play on and unlock. And this is another thing that Red Dead Revolver got a little bit of hate when it first came out, but in my opinion, this mode is really well done. My biggest complaint is if you don't have anybody to play with, it's not really fun because the NPCs are so easy. But that's pretty much gonna do it for this video, guys. I hope you liked it, and if you did like it, consider liking and subscribing. This was my first retro recommendation, but hopefully not my last, and I'm not really sure what my next video is going to be, but I'm thinking about doing a Splitgate 2 video, which it wouldn't be a recommendation video. It would be things I'd like to see improved from Splitgate 1 to Splitgate 2. But anyways, this is Jacob saying goodbye. And fun fact I don't think a lot of people know about Red Dead Revolver, it was originally being developed by Capcom and Rockstar, with both companies working on the game. But Capcom wanted a more unrealistic and kind of like superpower game, and Rockstar wanted to kind of tone that stuff down and make more of a realistic game. So to my understanding, Rockstar actually bought the company that was owned by Capcom, and they bought the rights to Red Dead Revolver, or something like that. I actually recommend you guys go check out a video that's actually made just to explain the development of Red Dead Revolver if you care to know.